Hi, everyone! In this video, we'll look at the biography of Sir Isaac Newton, one of the most influential scientists in history. Let's get started. Isaac Newton was born in the village of Woolsthorpe, Lincolnshire, England, on January 4, 1643. His mother, Hannah Ayscough Smith Newton, was a farmer's daughter who had worked as a servant in the household of a wealthy landowner. She married Isaac Newton Sr., a local farmer and member of Parliament, when she was 20 years old. They had two sons before Isaac, both of whom died in infancy. When Isaac was born, his father was away on business, so his mother looked after him and his brother until he was 3 years old. At that point, his father returned to take over the role of primary caregiver while his mother went back to work as a servant. Little is known about Isaac's early childhood, but it is believed that he spent much of his time playing outside and exploring the natural world around him. At the age of 5, Isaac entered the Dame School in the nearby village of Boston. He excelled in his studies and by the age of 10 was considered the best student in his class. However, his father disapproved of his son's interest in academics and wanted him to follow in his footsteps and become a farmer. As a result, Isaac was pulled out of school and sent to live with his maternal grandfather on the family farm. There he worked long hours and received little formal education. After 3 years, Isaac's mother remarried and moved to London. His father, having realized the error of his ways, then sent Isaac to live with her so that he could continue his education. In 1659, he enrolled at the King's School, Grantham, where he boarded with a local apothecary. During his time at the school, he developed an interest in mathematics and began to excel in the subject. It was also around this time that he started to exhibit the strange and reclusive behavior that would characterize him for the rest of his life. He suffered from severe mood swings and became obsessed with religious ideas. For example, he believed that he was the Son of God and that he had been sent to earth to deliver the true message of Christianity. In 1661, Isaac entered Trinity College, Cambridge University, where he studied mathematics, physics, and theology. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in 1665 and a master's degree in 1668. During his time at Cambridge, he made some groundbreaking discoveries in mathematics and physics. For example, he developed the foundations of calculus, discovered the laws of motion, and developed the theory of universal gravitation. In 1669, Isaac was awarded a fellowship at Trinity College, which granted him lifetime tenure at the college and provided him with a salary of £150 per year. This financial stability allowed him to devote himself entirely to his research. He continued to make important contributions to science and mathematics, including the publication of his groundbreaking work Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica in 1687. This work laid the foundations for classical mechanics and was one of the most important scientific texts ever written. It established Newton's reputation as one of the leading scientists in Europe. Newton's work was not without its critics, however. Many of his contemporaries, including the famous scientist Robert Hooke, disputed his claims about gravity and calculus. But Newton was not deterred, and he continued to work tirelessly on his research. In 1696, Isaac was appointed Lucasian Professor of Mathematics at Cambridge, a position that had been held by some of the most brilliant mathematicians in the world, including Isaac Barrow, who had been Newton's tutor at Cambridge. The following year, he was knighted by King William III and became Sir Isaac Newton. Throughout his career, Newton held a number of important positions in government and learned societies. He was a member of the Royal Society and served as its president from 1703 to 1727. He was also Master of the Mint, a position responsible for overseeing the production and distribution of coins in England. Despite his many accomplishments, Newton was never married and had no children. He lived a very solitary life and was often consumed by his work to the exclusion of all else. He was also known for his abrasive personality and his tendency to engage in bitter and sometimes petty arguments with other scientists. For example, he had a long-running feud with Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz over the invention of calculus. Despite their personal animosity, Newton and Leibniz are now both credited with having invented calculus independently of each other. As Newton's fame grew, so did his eccentricities. He was known for his habit of pacing up and down the room while musing about his work. He was also very superstitious and believed that certain numbers were lucky or unlucky. For example, He never used the number 13 because he believed it was unlucky. In 1705, Newton suffered a nervous breakdown and was forced to take a leave of absence from his duties at Cambridge. He recovered, but his health never fully recovered, and he suffered from depression and other mental problems for the rest of his life. In 1727, Newton resigned from his position as Lucasian Professor of Mathematics, but he continued to work on his research until his death on March 31, 1727. He was buried in Westminster Abbey. Isaac Newton's contributions to science are immeasurable. His work laid the foundations for classical mechanics, optics, and calculus. He discovered the laws of motion and universal gravitation, developed the reflecting telescope, and invented the binomial theorem. He also made important contributions to our understanding of light, color, heat, and magnetism. In addition to his scientific work, Newton was also an accomplished theologian and alchemist. He believed that the Bible was literally true, and that the world was created in 6 days. He also believed that alchemy, the medieval forerunner of chemistry, was a legitimate science and spent many hours trying to transmute base metals into gold. While Newton's contributions to science are undeniable, his personality was often abrasive, and he was known for his tendency to argue with other scientists and for his unwillingness to share his work. However, despite his flaws, Newton was undoubtedly one of the most brilliant scientists who ever lived. His work laid the foundations for many of the scientific advances that have been made in the past 300 years, and his contributions to our understanding of the universe are immeasurable. So what do you think of Sir Isaac Newton? Do you find his story inspiring? If so, let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.